The Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Education is what remains after one has forgotten what one has learned in school. These words of Albert Einstein marks the perfect start to the program today. Myself, Milana, academic coordinator of Ankuram eSRA, take immense pleasure in hosting this launch event today. I extend a hearty welcome to all of you who have joined us today on behalf of Ankuram Education Trust. Extend your arms in welcome to the future. The best is yet to come. Now, I request Ms. Nagma, Faculty of Chemistry Department, to welcome the gathering.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. It is my immense pleasure to welcome you all to this beautiful evening for a grand launch of Ankuram Esra. Initially, I would like to welcome our chief guest, our dynamic personality, Professor Subramanya Edapaditaya Sir, Vice Chancellor, Mangalore University, for accepting our invitation and joining us in spite of his busy schedule. A very warm welcome to you, sir, on behalf of Team Ankuram Esra.
Thank you.
I would like to welcome our today's guest of honor, Mr. Srinivasan Nandagopal, former senior correspondent, TOI, and co-founded Center for Integrated Learning for supporting young minds like us. We are happy that you have accepted our invitation. A warm welcome to you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Next, I would love to welcome President of this function, a backbone for Ankuram Education Trust, Mr. Padmanabha Panikar sir, ex-corporator and founder trustee, Ankuram Educational Trust, for this grand launch. Welcome you, sir. I also welcome Mr. Akshay Panikar, Managing Director, Ankuram Educational Trust. Welcome you, sir. I welcome all the invitees for accepting our kind invitation and joining us here for this grand launch. And I also welcome a young, energetic team of faculty who is always ready to work and explore the things. Welcome you all. Lastly, I would like to thank our team for giving me this wonderful opportunity. Thank you. Have a great evening.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your warm words of welcome. Lead me from illusion to reality. Take me from ignorance to knowledge. Lead me from death to immortality. These lines from our scriptures speaks about the vision of lighting the lamp. Now, I request our beloved chief guest to light the lamp. Also, I request our guest of honor, President, and all my dear faculties to light the lamp to mark the divine start to our event. Thank you. Ankuram means to sprout, and the basic idea behind the name indicates the inception of knowledge or planting of knowledge. We have a wonderful logo signifying the name and vision of our institution, personally designed by Akshay Sir and created by Mr. Shrikant. May I request all other participants to please mute your audio in order to avoid the disturbance. Please mute your audio. It's time that we release the logo of Ankuram eSRA as the indication of virtual inauguration. I request our honorable chief guest, Dr. Subramanya Yedapaditaya, Vice Chancellor of Mangrove University, to release eSRA logo. Thank you, sir. People grow through experience. If they meet life honestly and courageously, this is how character is built. Today, we have with us a well experienced personality in the field of education. Now, I request Ms. Asma, faculty from English Department, to introduce our chief guest. Asma, ma'am, are you there? You're not audible.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible now.
It's a great honor for me to visit our chief guest, Dr. Subramani Yedapaditaya. Dr. Subramani Yedapaditaya, native of Ekkada, Dakshina Kannada district, is currently the ninth Vice Chancellor of Mangrove University. He graduated from the first batch of postgraduate Department of Commerce, securing first rank and a gold medal in Econ 1982 from Mangrove University. He also completed his doctorate in consumer behavior from the same university in the year 1992. He did his postdoctoral research from Nottingham Business School, Nottingham Trent University, England during 2001-2 under the Commonwealth Fellowship Scheme. He is currently member of Committee State Universities for drafting uniform calendar of academic events appointed by Karnataka State Higher Education Council, Government of Karnataka. He is also a member of the committee to revamp evaluation system in higher education in the state, appointed by Karnataka State Higher Education Council, Government of Karnataka. He has published more than 50 research papers in national and international journals of repute. He has successfully supervised 23 PhD scholars in the area of human resource management, HRD, and marketing during his 4 decades of postgraduate teaching and research experience. He is also the proud recipient of eLearn International Award 2003 from Scotland, UK, and Devang Mehta National Award for Best Teacher in Human Resource Management in 2009. Dr. R. Sudarshan Memorial Lifetime Achievement Award for National Achievers, Administration and Education in 2020. He has served as the Finance Officer Registrar and Registrar of Mangrove University, gathering administrative experience of nearly 10 years. We now request our Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. Subramania Yedapaditaya, to address the gathering with his valuable inputs. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, good evening. Esteemed President of this launch program, Mr. Padmanabha Panikkar, ex-corporate and founder, Trustee Ankuram Educational Trust, the guest of honor and my well-wisher, Mr. Srinivasan Nandagopal, former senior correspondent, Times of India, and co-founder, Center for Integrated Learning, Mr. Akshay K. Panikkar, MD, Ankuram Educational Trust, special invitees, ladies and gentlemen. So I deem it my privilege to be a part of this program, and I took part in the lighting of the lamp in this sacred moment of launching this event of India's full-fledged online school, eSRA, e-School for Remote Academia. It claims to be the first of its kind within its innovative methodology and the aspiration. And I am extremely delighted to release the logo of this eSRA, e-School for Remote Academia. Therefore, greetings from Mangrove University to all of you. So I am extremely delighted to know that the USP of this Ankuram Educational Trust is dedicated to improving the quality of education by scientific approaches, not by rule of thumb, scientific approaches and experimentally proven techniques, not by trial and error methods, to influence a whole new generation toward greatness. Because Jim Collins rightly pointed out in his book, Good to Great, first of all you try to become a human being, then try to become a better human being, then eventually you must aim at becoming a great human being. Normally it is possible only through your deeds. See, as the 9th Vice Chancellor of Mangrove University, I always tell my friends, never react but respond, as Jaggi Vasudeva Sadhguru rightly pointed out. Same thing is my focus. I will always answer my critics through my deeds. Similarly, here, this approach is very wonderful because you want to improve the quality of education by scientific, very sacred and very genuine. And we must know how to demonstrate our genuine intentions through appropriate and timely actions. Because the new education policy NEP 2020 talks about transforming the education landscape of our country. To add fuel to the fire, this COVID-19 pandemic created new challenges. What I am visualizing in the post-COVID-19 scenario is one third. I need to say that whether we like it or not, there must be one third online teaching, learning, evaluation processes. Another one third, the conventional, traditional, face-to-face, physical C-learning or classroom learning. Then only we can inculcate soft skills and life skills to our students or the learners. The third one is, another one third, the last one third is experimental or experiential learning. Students must get, enriching student learning experiences, and our focus should not be on the output but on the student learning outcomes. the end results of all these student learning experiences. It means students must be given hands-on experience through your project work, internship, or brief exposure to the field work, or learning by doing, something like that, or even learning through observation. That means one third will be a hard reality in the days to come. Therefore, earlier we had what you call physical learning place. Now we witness what you call virtual learning space. Place is shifted to this space. Therefore, we must be in a position to accommodate new things. That is possible because of this Ankuram Educational Trust is attempting based on the experimentally proven techniques. Therefore, Ankuram Education Trust is not a test bed to try new things. They are incorporating and implementing only time-tested and experimentally proven techniques to make things happen. Therefore, next generation schooling system, e-school for remote academia, it sounds fantastic and it possesses brilliant promises to make things happen, and it is definitely a full-fledged online school. And here, learning through one's experience at their own comfort and freedom. And you are aiming at nurturing every young mind. That is the beauty of it. That being the case, you are focusing on what you call the Saptapadi, the 7 steps. But all the 7 steps are based on a solid edifice called KVAR. K stands for kinesthetic learning through body language, the movement, the motor skills, all these things. Kinesics, it plays a wonderful role in shaping and reshaping the personality of the students or the learners. Normally we say that you have to catch them young to inculcate such skills so that you are building the confidence. Today, the teaching institutions or education institutions should not prepare the students just for a job or a career, but for their lives. That's very, very important. Because normally, an ordinary teacher tells, a good teacher explains, and a superior teacher demonstrates, and a great teacher will always inspire the students. Because we know pretty well that educational institutions are not petrol bunks to pump the knowledge from the textbooks into the brain box of a student. Students should have the motivation to learn and grow. Teachers are merely the stimulators of learning. They can take the horse to the pond, but they cannot make it drink by dipping its mouth. That being the case, there are different classes or categories of learners today. We have got fast learners, average learners, and slow learners. I don't say there are non-learners, because there are learners, no problem. But there are 3 categories, 3 shades of learners: fast, average, and slow. Therefore, 5 fingers are not alike. Unless we understand, appreciate the varying learning pattern of individual students, we cannot design, develop, and deliver learning solutions, whether online mode or offline mode. Therefore, kinesthetic learning, the first level. Next, visual learning. For example, Byju's, it will give a lot of visual impact for the learners. And they made a lot of name and fame, no doubt about it. But your Ankur, it stands out in the crowd because of its novel mechanism of developing innovative teaching and learning mechanisms. Therefore, visual learning is the next level. Then auditory learning, because you listen to understand, not to oppose. The learner can oppose the idea only after understanding it. And here, the methodology will clearly distinguish between hearing a loud sound outside and listening to a beautiful music. You can listen to a beautiful music only with a sense of purpose, pride, and direction. It calls for a high level of commitment on the part of the listener. Therefore, auditory learning is equally very important to make things happen. Then finally, R is nothing but reading and writing. All of a sudden, if you compel a student to read and write, then you will be putting the cart before the horse. Therefore, this is based on a very strong time-tested experimentally proven methodology of KVAR, kinesthetic learning, visual learning, auditory learning, and reading and writing. Therefore, it is based on the whole personality. That is what National Education Policy 2020 says. Well-rounded development of the personality. It means physical, mental, intellectual, social, and spiritual well-being of the learner must be taken care of. Ankuram Educational Trust is totally dedicated and committed to make these things happen in a very, very modest and humble way. Therefore, it tests not only the students' memory skills or retention capacity, but more importantly, experiential learning more, so that it will inculcate skills into the hearts and minds of the learners. It will enhance or build confidence level, so that you will be able to face any kind of situation. Because today, because of the COVID-19, as a trainer, as a learner, as a student, I understood it is not enough if you are blessed with what you call a good level of intelligent quotient. Intelligence quotient is required. But what I am trying to impress upon you is that average intelligence is good enough. What else is required? Intelligence quotient multiplied by emotional intelligence quotient. You must know how to keep yourself cool all the time. You must be able to handle yourself. So emotional intelligence is very, very important. What we say agility, that is emotional intelligence quotient of Daniel Goleman, multiplied by social intelligence. Because ultimately, you must be in a position to create a kind of meaningful and purposeful social impact. Are you in a position to do that? That means you must be temperamentally well positioned to create an intended social impact. That requires social intelligence multiplied by spiritual quotient. Spirituality is nothing but, according to Swami Vivekananda, the science of human excellence. We must be able to unleash and unlock the human potential within every student. I told you already, the fast learner, average learner, and slow learner. How do we accommodate the needs, preferences, demands, wants, and expectations of varying levels of the learners? In a physical classroom, difficult, but in a digital mode or virtual mode, definitely we can take care of it because of the KVAR methodology adopted by this mechanism. That's why here a series of tests specifically designed for their learning patterns. Even the assessment is very innovative. Therefore, this eSRA is promising to provide what we call a kind of training for that skill set, which will make a student a complete person. That means that skill set and experience required to make an informed career choice. Because career choice is your personal choice, I know, but you have to take a very informed decision. Later you cannot cut a sorry figure, or you cannot repent for having taken a wrong decision or an ill-informed decision. It should be a very informed decision. And this eSRA is promoting that kind of mindset and a kind of commitment on the part of the learners. So you make an informed career choice through your dream project program. Ultimately, the punchline is better ways to learn. Every time, everywhere, normally I say, one step ahead. Ankuram Educational Trust is strongly committed to this kind of philosophy. 5 words, every time, one step ahead. That is called continuous learning and development. Thank you for your opportunity, and I wish you all the best. And I convey my hearty wishes to Mr. Nandagopal and everyone from Mangrove University. Thank you very much for your time and opportunity.
Experience is a source of knowledge. Well, we had the pleasure of listening to such an amazing personality. Thank you so much, sir. When you feel extremely thankful, translating your gratitude into words can be difficult. I request Mr. Praveen Kumar to present a memento to our chief guest, Dr. P. Subramania Yadapaditaya, as a token of love and respect. Thank you, sir. A vision is not just a picture of what could be. It is an appeal to our better selves, a call to become something more. Just like the name Ankuram and the vision is to implant knowledge as a symbolic representation, we are planting a seed of vision today. Now, I request our guest of honor, Mr. Srinivas Nandagopal, to plant a sapling as a seed of vision. Thank you, sir. Leonardo da Vinci said, simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. Today, we have with us a person of simplicity, yet a determined person in the field of education. May now request Mrs. Amritalakshmi Bhatt from Biology Department to introduce our guest of honor.
Good evening, everyone. I take an immense pleasure to introduce Mr. Srinivasan Nandagopal sir as a guest of honor to our inauguration function. Srinivasan Nandagopal sir has completed his schooling from Kendriya Vidyalaya, Panambur, Mangrove, and done his pre-university at Govindadasa College, Srinagar. He is graduated from St. Aloysius College, Mangalore, with BSc in Electronics, and then supplemented with Master's degree in Sociology from Karnataka State Open University, Mysore. As a journalist, he worked in different publishing houses, including the Canada Times, Mangalore Today Monthly, and Asian Age in varied capacities, from a reporter, Kamsab editor, chief reporter, and district correspondent. The stay in Asian Age helped him in climbing up the ladder to join the Times of India. He worked for 10 years there, reported an array of events in Mangalore and Bangalore. He was senior correspondent at Bangalore when he decided to quit. Presently, he is a convener in an organization in Mangalore called Center of Integrated Learning, CIL. CIL is a not-for-profit professional organization involved in developing strategies and in intervention that adds value for present education system. The organization has initiated two student forums, Student Action Movement, SAM, and Creating Resource to Empower Society Today, CREST. He associated with the European Union and Finland government supporting tribal development in India and the free unity building of tribal communities in Alliance, which then states in the country. He has contributed specially designated articles to The Pointer and the Hindustan Times Daily. He is a senior facilitator associated with AIM Insights, a Mangalore-based HRD consultancy group, as a trainer in leadership development and corporate communication. He has conducted customized training modules for different target groups ranging from children to postgraduate students and employees of corporate entities. He is also a guest faculty in postgraduate Department of Mass Communication and Journalism at St. Aloysius College and SCM College today, and in the panel of examiners at Manipal Institute of Communication. He is also a casual compare of All India Radio. He is very keen adventure enthusiast. He has accomplished Himalayan trekking expedition to Kapli Glaciers. We are very grateful to have Srinivas Nandagopal sir for accepting our invitation and marking his presence here. Welcome you, sir. Now I request you to address the gathering with your valuable words. Over to you, sir.
Good evening, everybody. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes? Can I take it as this? Yeah, okay. Well, it's a wonderful evening for me as I have the pleasure of associating with this program in the presence of the Vice Chancellor of Mangrove University. It's humbling to be alongside with Yadapaditaya, my old elder friend, whom I have seen him meticulously administer and conduct himself in whichever role that he has adorned. And rightfully, he is presently the Vice Chancellor of our university, Mangrove University. And incidentally, he happens to be an alumni of Mangrove University, and that makes him more special as the Vice Chancellor of Mangrove University. And to start with, let me, I'm sure that Ankuram Educational University will go hand in hand for a long time to come. Well, sir, Vice Chancellor, and then I have two elderly young friends of mine whom I have known for over 25 years now. Panikar, with whom I used to have long chats long time ago, 1994, 95, and then I am pleasantly surprised that I have yet another young elderly friend of mine, Suresh sir, who is here. Akshay, you have a long way to go, and I'm sure your young elderly mind, that is, you think big, that is what I have come together in a couple of meetings that we had. So, first of all, very glad to be here. Well, friends, having known that Vice Chancellor Dr. Yadapaditaya is going to inaugurate and speak before me, I had made up my mind that I am not going to do anything. Simply because it will be foolish of me to present something which I am sure would have already been delivered by the immense knowledge and experience that Yadapaditaya has. And that is why I am only going to share a few points or few things that come through my experience. First of all, it is very pertinent to mention that I am part of the grand launch of India's first online school official online school or authentic online school. And I have a connect with our correspondence because my highest degree, that is the post-graduation, is through an open university. So that is the first connect that we have. And again, since Suresh Sir is here, I would like to confess that in St. Aloysius College, where I did my BSc with core subjects as physics, electronics, and mathematics, let me confess that except for physics, electronics, and mathematics, I did everything else in the St. Aloysius campus. Thanks to people like Sureshna, who molded me in being a good NCC cadet, or Ankuram, who brought me into the fold of debating and various other activities, or Shikari Krishnamurti, or Peters, or even for that matter, I was in the college team of table tennis. So, you might be wondering what I am telling or why I am telling this. Because when I was discussing this concept of the online school, I was told that it's all going to be 90% hands-on and then going to be a lot of psychologically time-tested methods that are going to be used to make John really active. You understand what I mean. Well, only studies will not make XYZ a great person. There is a need for integrated development of an individual if he has to progress. That is why, happily and proudly saying that I did not do my studying properly in my college, and that is why I am sitting here as the guest of honor. Thank you so much for considering me, who is probably college illiterate, but then life teaches us a lot of things. Well, I always say it's important that we put in our mind one simple mantra for life. The simple mantra is one statement that always brings smile in the faces of students when I say this to them. And that is, stop studying. Yes, friends. From the age of 7, when we enter the first standard, 6th or when we enter first standard, till the age of 15, that we end up being kicked out of an institute or school for obvious reasons. And then we get into another institution called pre-university level. Because all these are, the nomenclatures are going to change and the system is going to change in the new education policy. Anyway, till now what is happening is that you enter after 10 years of studying, you enter into pre-university for 2 years and you enter something called the undergraduate course, where actually that is college. So you enter an institution called college for 3 years, so that makes it 15 years of studying, and then probably you still are bitten by the bug of studying, you enter into post-graduation. So that makes it 17 years of studying. And after 17 years of study, I have found that 90% of the 90 percenters or gold medalists are of no use to the society. The society is benefited more from a 40 percenter or 50 percenter or 60 percenter in the college level who has dropped out and who has done big in life. Why I tell this is that our system has evolved in such a way that studying and by hearting rote method that Vice Chancellor spoke about, and then vomiting it out in the exam papers. And in the bargain, what happens? Ask a 5th standard kid, what did you study in 3rd standard? She will say, I know. Why should I know? That is not there for my 6th standard. Ask a kid of 9th standard if she remembers something that she did, something that she studied in 7th standard. She wouldn't. Ask yourself what you study standard. Forget it. Right? This is simply because we have been studying, and studying has always been for one very, very focused goal, that is those stupid exams or examinations. So when you study, you actually are forgetting. Ultimate result of studying is forgetting. And then, let me give you alternatives. Reading. Reading is the best form where you remember and it is with you. But most of the time, reading, you remember, but you cannot recall or you cannot represent it. So then, let's see what else can be done. I purposely kept this next to me. I could have kept it away and then that. But then I feel very nice looking at it, observing it, seeing it, and feeling it with me when I'm speaking to you. So, seeing and observing. So, from studying, we came to reading. From reading, along with reading, seeing and observing, feeling, helps us to not only remember, but recall. Remember and recall, which is important. And finally, I would be happy not only to plant, but then to work on this, nurture it, and see that it grows. So what am I doing? I am practically doing. So from studying, we came to reading, we came to observing or seeing, and then we're coming to doing. So when we are doing, what are we doing actually? When we are doing, we are learning. And once you learn, we remember, we recall, we present it, and it is there for life.
And it keeps becoming blurred.
So what studies cannot do, learning does. Simple example, as I told you, I asked you if you remember what you studied 2 years ago or last year. And we all said no, we don't remember. But then I learned cycling 20 years ago, and for some reasons I have not bicycled for 20 years. If you give me a bicycle, can I bicycle? Absolutely, yes. If I've learned 20 years ago something called swimming and 20 years swam at all, if I'm wanted to jump into water, I can definitely swim. So that is the basic difference between studying and learning. And mind you, study has always been boring. Studying has always been a burden. Studying has always given an inverted curve in our face. Yuck. But then, have we ever felt learning cycling boring? Absolutely not. Haven't we failed while learning? Yes, we have. We have fallen down while cycling. But then, we have got up. We have seen here and there if somebody is looking at you, and then gave a big smile, and then we took off. That is the beauty of learning. Why I am stressing my learning is that it's very important today. If we have to contribute to the society, we need to stop studying, start learning. And unfortunately, our system has evolved in such a way that during 1984, when the previous educational reforms were being discussed, a commission was set up, like a commission was set up recently, and we got the new education policy. A commission was set up then, and one of the members of the commission very rightly put a question to start with. And the question speaks volume about our education system. And the question was very simple. Is no education better than present education? This is the question posed. Look at the intensity of this question. And this speaks volume about the system in place. I'm sure you'll agree that 90% of people who have not studied have done better than those who have studied. So, offshoot of this system came various alternatives. Various alternatives like homeschooling. It's a big movement now. There's yet another wonderful concept called unschooling, which is a slap on the system. Unschooling. And then there is a concept that is slowly evolving called no schooling. So there are laws that are happening around in the educational arena, and here is yet another step towards exploring the unexplored. So we are very clearly seeing that I would rather call it when I thought about the online school and the examination system, and then I was told there are a very limited number of hours of lecture approach or of classroom sessions. I was very happy. Because this, according to me, a kind of an extended homeschooling with the quoting of the statutory requirement of schooling. That is, when you come to standard, you need a statutory piece of paper to go to the next level. That paper is not going to help you in any way. The paper called marks card or the paper called degree certificate or SSLC certificate is not going to help us in any way in any of future endeavors. But then that is statutory requirement. So, it is a system that is being evolved by Ankur, which is, according to me, a very welcome move where you are clubbing the statutory requirement with the unconventional, less explored path of online education. Yet another aspect that I would like to touch. I have been given 20 minutes and it's already 21 minutes that I have been speaking. I will, Akshay, with your permission, I will take another 5 minutes. Because in the changing times, in the changing technologies, in the changing mindsets, we conventional oldies have not much role to play. We all have to take your permissions with regard to anything and everything. Right from connecting my console or my laptop, I had to take the help of your friend, your who has come, Arvind, yeah. So till any technical hitch, mostly at home also, I ask my daughter if I don't get something right technically on the gadgets. It is not good for small children to use gadgets. And extensive use is a problem, but then knowing and using them judiciously is perfectly fine according to me. So, what has this system done to us? I would like to leave with such questions for you to explore so that you take things in its spirit and evolve in addition to what you are up to. The system, I always believe in a small mantra called 3E. And this works miracles. The 3E mantra is very simple. We, all of us, including small children, because I consider myself as a child. I am young, no matter what the figures in my birth certificate say. But then we see 4th, 5th standard children behaving as if they have finished everything in life. This is what our schooling system has done to them. Again, I forgot to mention, if you remember, I asked you, do you remember what you studied last year? No. But then, if I ask you, if I just tell twinkle, and you will continue as if you have gone back 15 years or 20 years or for me 40 years back and 45 years back when we sang Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. How can we remember that for 45 long years? Because we learned. And that is the beauty of this system. All the systems went haywire after 7 years, that is from 1st standard onwards, 4 years. So there is need for alternatives. And one greatest tragedy of the system, according to me, is it is that 3E mantra that I am supposed to administer. The 3E mantra is very simple. We all have abundance of the first E. that is energy. We all have abundance of energy. Even the dying man has so much of energy that till the last breath he wants to live. That is the beauty of all of us. There is abundance of energy. The problem is, this energy is not being utilized with what we all need to have. We all need to have that enthusiasm. Enthusiasm is required to channelize that energy. And that enthusiasm is to be built up in children. At 95, Kota Shivaram Karan used to wear the anklets, geje, and dance, do yakshagana, perform yakshagana with small kids. That is enthusiasm. I had a professor in my mathematics teacher in my final year degree, or in all the 3 years. It's pertinent that I mention this here. And every time, he was 55 when we were in the final year. That means he had only 3 more years to go, retiring from the college. But then every time he would derive a calculus equation, differentiation, integration. Sorry, I studied it, that is why I forgot. So differentiation, integration, and the other things, and he would derive it, and he would jump up with joy when he comes to the final step, as if he is doing for the first time. This is enthusiasm that I am talking about. Are we inculcating, or are we filling up that enthusiasm to utilize the energy that we have? We are not doing it simply because the system is not doing it simply because of the third E. The third E is we don't enjoy what we are doing. We don't enjoy what we are doing. As long as the learning process becomes enjoyable, we will not learn. We will continue to study, and you know what happens later. So, channelize our energy. Let's tell ourselves, let's channelize our abundance of energy with a lot of enthusiasm. Let's not sit back. Somebody will push you all the time. Somebody is not going to give any challenge. We have to pose challenges for ourselves. All these hashtag challenges are bullshit. Is there one hashtag which says hashtag learning for something good of the society? Hashtag service project? Hashtag what good you have done to your parents today? Hashtag have you been a good parent? It's very easy to put hashtag father and mother, put hashtag father and daughter. But then what have you as a parent done to your daughter? Posing for a photograph is wonderful. So this is the problem with all of us. So let's tell ourselves, let's utilize our energy with a lot of enthusiasm, and let's enjoy what we are doing. I can go on and on and on simply because I'm enjoying what I'm doing now. I'm enjoying speaking to you. I'll be speaking to a console. I might be speaking in front of a laptop screen. But then I'm enjoying simply because I am visualizing hundreds of children, hundreds of young friends like Sureshnath sitting in front of me. So that's the way we have to take things. Is Ankur doing it? If it's doing it, and I'm sure it is doing it, and when it starts doing it, it will serve its purpose. And I am always with that purpose, Akshay. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. It was so wonderful listening to your thought provoking and motivating words. Thank you. Ambition is the path to success. Persistence is the vehicle you arrive in. Yes, these words go very well with our managing director, young, ambitious, and very persistent personality, Mr. Akshay K. Panikar. Before we move forward, I would like to briefly introduce Mr. Akshay K. Panikar. He has completed his master's in zoology from Mangrove University and is the founder and managing director of Ankuram Educational Trust. Under the umbrella of the trust, Sir has started 10 students coaching class and a non-profit organization, Ankuram 360, and now Ankuram eSRA. Without further delay, I of what Ankuram eSRA is. Over to you, sir.
Yes, that's the meeting 2 minutes back.
Please pardon, Akshay sir will be joining in a couple of minutes.
In the meantime, can I add one sentence
Sure, sir,
with
sure,
the
sir.
permission of the MC?
Yes, sir, please.
Because I got this thought, I got thought after you introduced Akshay. Well,
Yes, sir.
I should have told about myself. After BS Phoenix, I jumped into journalism, and Akshay, after being a wonderful student of Sureshnath, is getting into KIT. So this is what our system is doing. We pursue an academic career, pursue an academic course, and then get landed up in something else. So again, this is a flaw in the system. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Akshay, sir, am I audible?
Yeah,
Yes, sir. Over to you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Nandagopal sir. That was definitely thought provoking in lot many ways. But before that, I would just like to say thank you and to everyone who has gathered here today, and wishes from Ankuram family to all of you. Thing is, when the idea of eSRA or the idea of open schooling or the idea of online schooling came into play, it was during this pandemic, and I had very good support, not just from my family, not just from my friends, but the whole team. So when Ankuram Educational Trust is basically a family of many volunteers, teachers who are willing to do anything to change the society through education. So the inception started always long back, but before I get into our journey, I would really be honored, and I'm actually very blessed, honored, excited, overwhelmed. I'm a bit nervous also because I have such immense personalities like VC sir. I will always tell VC sir because I am also a Mangrove University student, and Nandagopal sir is here. He is also one of the people whom I admire a lot for their work and for their simplicity. If I have to say something about VC sir, it would be that when I went and met him for the first time, that was the first time I was meeting sir, and I just told him about the idea of Ankuram online schooling. Uh, what excited me the most was that throughout the conversation of nearly 45 minutes, he never asked us, "Who are you?" He only spoke about education. That was so overwhelming for a learner like me. Like I was sitting back there and listening to the things he has experienced and he's put in his life. And that one third formula, what he was, he has already president of Ankuram Trust was there. So they were there, and still he was so focused, and he was always talking only about education. Now that for me is way beyond anything, because as a person who's trying to bring some change in this education system, uh, that means a lot. So he never asked who you are, what are you doing, what are your qualifications, nothing. He only said, you're interested, you want to do something, yes, I'm there with you. So that support is what means a lot to us. And if I have to say anything about Nandagopal sir, I would have to, there's a lot to say, but in two lines, if I have to say, he's a person who, uh, we sat there, I think I sat and spoke to him nearly, that was the first time I went and met him. And nearly 1.5 hours, roundabout, we spoke, and I realized that Nandagopal sir or VC sir, they have done so much more in the field of education than we can even think of doing in a small part of our life. They have been contributing so much to education, and that is, in fact, for me, a huge inspiration. And not just for me, the whole team. We were so excited to have both of you. Thank you so much for being there for us. Thank you for the support. And now, if I have to talk about the Ankuram eSRA. I'm sorry, that was an echo from my side. Yeah, so basically, Ankuram eSRA is just an idea. It started as an idea where what if students can learn at home? What if students can think at home? What if students can create at home? If that can happen at home, then what are schools doing? Because we have seen a lot of people who have been homeschooled and achieved, who have been doing immense things out there, even without proper, what do I say, the qualifications. Then what is the education system like? If a small child is trying to go to school in the morning, where is education system standing? So, like I always say, we can't keep talking about the problems. We together need to stand up to find a solution for this. So Ankuram eSRA is one such solution that we have come across, that we have put towards the society. And I would like to show you all the world of what Ankuram eSRA is going to be and how the children are going to be nurtured through this process. So, just please tell me if I can present the screen.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, is it visible? Mila?
Yes.
Okay. So, Ankuram eSRA, like I said, it's an idea that anyone can study anywhere. They don't need a person or they don't need to go to a school. But even then, there are few limitations that we had to, that came as a challenge to us. How to make online schooling possible. So when it comes to online schooling, the first and the major thing that everybody asks is that what about the social interactions? What about students interacting with friends? What about making friends? What about that? What about this? So many problems started coming up. So, like I said in the beginning, we are all people here who go behind solution rather than keep complaining about problems. So yes, we have come up with a solution. And with a solution, I would like to share an idea what eSRA is. So when it starts off, we in Ankuram schooling system believes this, that understanding our learners becomes our first, learners in the sense students who are coming to us, becomes our first responsibility. So understanding what that child is, understanding where that child is, what is his learning abilities. I'm not talking about disabilities. What are his abilities? He might have an ability. Why are we not talking about that? Why are we only saying that he is disabled? Whether he is weak in math, whether he is strong in, we always talk about weaknesses more than strength. We at eSRA are going to focus on the strength. Each child is going to have a strength. We will focus on that. And each child we know by birth is unique. I know every one of them out there believes it. But is it being shown in the system? eSRA is standing for that. So we identify each child being unique. And when the child comes to us, there are ways in which we are going to assess the child, identify what his strengths are. Yes, from there we will take it to his choices. Now, even though the child is unique, even though the child has capacity, even though the child has all the dreams that he wants to be, from there, if we see, we go on to identify what his choices are. Now, choices matter a lot. If a student says, I don't want to study maths, why are we forcing him? Which is why choice of subject in eSRA is going to be 35 plus subject plus 18 languages. Any subject the child wants to choose, he can choose. If he wants to learn any subject under the sun, he can. We are going to make it as precise as possible, as explorative as possible. And there are a team of teachers who are trained to do this. So the choices of subject the student is going to take will never let him down. And then the third step of extra schooling is extra career counseling. Now what we mean by career counseling is each child will be born with a dream that I want to be this, I want to be that. But do we have a school that supports it? eSRA is planning to do that. In fact, we have the groundwork already done for it. Each child's dream of being whatever he wants to be will be shown firsthand. He will interact with the person out there. And we identify his dream. We stand with the dream. We see that his dreams, through his choices, through his uniqueness, can become his pillar of success. This is what extra schooling is all about. Starting from understanding choices and career counseling, it needs a lot of intricate detailing to be done. It's not as easy as we say. So, like we always have said that we have inculcated the tried and tested things. But when the student comes in, these are the 7 steps that happens for the student. So the first thing that the student will go through is the learning assessment tests. So once the student comes in, we are going to find out what is the capacity of the student. Individually, for individual student, there is going to be an individual pattern of study. Right? So we are going to identify that, which subject he is good at, which subject he is not, which subject, and these are all done by psychological tests. These are not simply done where a teacher is sitting in front, yes, he doesn't know math, yes, he doesn't know science. This happens by psychological testings. With that, we give him a career counseling. We tell him, see, your strengths lie here. The child's strengths lie here. Why should we focus on something else? Yes, if he wants to do something else, we are going to support that. But if he doesn't want to, his strength is lying in arts, why are we pushing him to do science? So a proper career counseling is going to be given to the student, and he is going to be understanding and experiencing what his own strengths are. We will work on the strengths. From there, we give him the choice of subjects. We counsel him and then give him the choice of subjects. You can't give a plate of chocolates to a child and say, take one chocolate from it. Right? But if we say, if he likes milk chocolates and if he likes or he doesn't like dark chocolate, when we give a plate of that, then it is easier for a student to choose because he likes something. Sometimes the students don't even know what is there lying in front of them. They like science, maybe in physics, maybe not in biology. Why force them into it? This choice of subject, the step 3, is the most important thing when it comes to the academic part. From there, each student has his own learning styles. So we set personalized curriculum plans for each one. What we do is take the student through the whole journey of kinesthetic learning, visual learning, auditory learning, reading, writing learning. I don't have to stress more on it because both Mangrove sir as well as VC sir has told it so much about it, and I know many of them out there also know about this KVR model. But in eSRA, what is special is that each topic is given importance for KVR. Each topic, each sentence that the student is going to learn, each sentence that the student is going to read, each word that the student is going to be introduced to will be taken from the KVAR. Not just giving him one experiment and then leaving it. No. Every topic is going to be converted into the KVAR model, where the student is going to completely experience the subject in and out. So that is one. And the next challenge which we had, or which we still have, how to assess these students who are so excellent in all the four things. How do we evaluate them? For which we have designed a whole new system of examination, which is basically trying to understand what the student's strength and weaknesses are. Because we need to identify that as teachers. So we start with the memory base of the child. The kinesthetic approach is to build his memory. Then comes his analytical skills, his creative skills, his critical skills. All of these needs to be given equal importance. You can't give maximum preference to memory and say this student or this child is dumb. The student might be amazing in analytical thinking out of the box. Hatke thinking, what we say. There are students of these categories. We need to address them. Our examination system needs to address them, which is why a personalized evaluation pattern is going to be set. In fact, our teachers are already setting it. And as many patterns, as many combinations as possible. So the child is going to go through the whole process of schooling by his own will and wish. And last, finally, is the dream project plan. And this is something that I've always wanted in my life. As a child, I've always been so very confused of what I wanted to be. So very confused. I didn't know what I wanted to be. Because I have been exposed to a lot of things. I've tried out many things. I'm a student of Aloysius. Suresh sir, hello sir. And I still remember it was Suresh sir back then who, I don't know why he said that to me, but he just came up to me and he said, "You're not a person to be between these four walls." And that time it didn't make sense to me. Really, it never made sense to me. But that is the beauty of a teacher. A teacher can identify what a child can be or has the potential, what kind of potential the child has. So this is to improve that into the practical world. What is the necessity of studying so much and not applying that in the real world? Now the student, whoever has a dream of becoming a doctor, he will have the first-hand experience of being with the doctor, seeing his life. So it will be a certificate program that we design for each child. So he can have an internship with a doctor or an engineer or a photographer or a wildlife photographer or an athlete, whatever he wants to be. He will have an internship program with a certified model, a certified curriculum set, and they will go through it. A practical knowledge, a dream project program. In fact, it is my dream. I want to do it in every school in India as possible. Because then the students will know exactly what they want to do in life. They will know whether they want to pursue it or not. Because sometimes you choose a career and you leave it because it's hard for you or because you're not interested in it. That is a waste of time, as what I see it. So a dream project program for a child is going to be directed to make him experience whatever he wants to be in his future. And his independent learning skilled student, an independent learning skilled student is going to be born with all of these. He will not depend upon anything or anyone in his life because he will be sure of his choices. This is what eSRA is standing for, this is what eSRA is designed for, this is what eSRA will work for. And for that, I have to tell you, this system, KVR pattern of learning, is what we make our base. The examination, the experience, all of that comes from these four categories. From there, I would like to take you to the vision of eSRA. eSRA is designed to restructure the way how your child thinks, thereby changing the society. I can't keep complaining that the society is like that, society is like this. If I want a change, then I make the change. How? Through a child. If you have an independently thinking child sitting on the other end, who can question, who can reason, who can find solutions for the problems which are out there, then we have a better society already. And eSRA is eSRA is envisioning this process. And what our mission is to reach every child, privileged or not. Everyone has a potential. So eSRA is aiming to nurture each potential that every child has and to make him whatever he dreams to be without pushing him, without making it a bitter journey for him. This is what eSRA is designed for. And if eSRA is standing here so proudly out to the public, I have to thank a few people, first of whom are my family here, my father, mother. These are the trustees who have been there throughout the journey. And these are the people who always have seen the vision along with me. I won't take much time, but I really have to tell thank you for the whole eSRA team. Now, there are a few people whom I need to mention. If eSRA has been designed out there and the vision is in reality right now, because of a few people, one of whom is Shweta ma'am, Katie Shweta ma'am. I need to address her because she has been an advisor, she has been a good friend who has been leading the team. In fact, she is a psychologist who has her own institution, and she is working along with eSRA to identify each child's potential. So she is our strength on one side to find out each step of the child, what the child is going to take. And with that, I have to thank a whole team of Ankuram eSRA there, the teachers. Trust me, these are teachers who have come up with I'm out of words, but these are people who really have stood up without expecting anything in return. Something new, yes. Something is going to change, yes sir, we are going to be there. And they have been there. To this date, they have been there. Throughout the journey of designing eSRA, they have been there. Every month, in fact, our teachers are given a training program every month, and they religiously attend it. See that they keep themselves on top of it, on top of the teaching capacities that they have. Their maximum potentials are given. And these are all just, I can say, the pillars of Ankuram eSRA. With that, I'm thanking everybody out there who has attended this program of this grand launch and making it such a success. I also thank few of the people who are here. Nandagopal sir is here, BC sir. I'll personally wish him again. Nandagopal sir, thank you so much for being with us, for being such a huge support. The team eSRA. Sureshnath sir, thank you so much for coming, sir. It's always a pleasure to see you here. He's always there, no matter what. No matter what happens, he's always there to back you. These are the teachers who have taught us to think different. Think Hatke. Hatke teachers will have Hatke students. So, proof, Mangrove is here. So, thank you everyone, and thank you for attending this program, and thank you for helping eSRA launch in such a grand way. Thank you so much, and it's been a privilege. We will not start. We have been working, we promise. Nandagopal sir, he said we have to stand with the vision. Yes sir, we will. We will always stand with the vision. We will always see that there is going to be some change that happens through the idea of eSRA in this society on a long run. through shortcoming changes. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Akshay sir, for giving an insight on the journey of Ankuram Education Trust and the vision of Ankuram eSRA. Let your journey of 1,000 miles be successful. Thank you. It's not enough to be compassionate. You must act. As we have among us a person who compassionately works for the society. It's my privilege to introduce the president of today's function, Mr. Padmanabha Panikar. Panikar sir has completed his diploma in pharmacy and worked as marketing executive and pharmacist at Omega Hospital. He has successfully served as Mangrove City Corporation Corporator from 1983 to 1994, also as Mangrove City Health Chairman. Panikar sir is married to Jeeja Panikar and is blessed with two children, Archana Panikar, who is a doctor, and Akshay Panikar, Managing Director of Ankuram Education Trust. From past 8 years, he is working as a project coordinator for Yojaka India Private Limited in Tanir Beach. He is the happiest when he serves others. He considers social work as his hobby. It's an honor to have you here, sir. I kindly request Mr. Padmanabha Panikar, sir, to give away the presidential remarks.
Good evening to all. Today, our chief guest of today's function, Dr. Subramania Educational Chief guest of today's functions, and guest of honor, Mr. Srinivasa Nandagopal, have blessed our institution. First of all, in this present occasion, I salute COVID-19 because COVID-19 improved our human beings. COVID-19 has given us a good discipline to all the human beings. This is present time. I would like to say at the same time I will respect the whole team, Mr. Akshay K. Panikar and all of his teacher colleagues. I know how they are doing hard work for their e-school of academia, e-school for remote academia. It comes under Ankuram Educational Trust. Really, each and every teacher is doing very good hard work, and also they have got a good aim. They want to do something they want to give something good to our young generation and all our young teachers. First of all, I will thank our VC, Sri Edapantaya, and I previously know very well Mr. Nandagopal when he was in Times of India. So, basically, I got my profession pharmacist, but I am fully mingled with social work. That is my lifelong hobby. I don't know. So anyhow, because of social work, I have got an opportunity to get lot of good people, good human beings. So I thank today's chief guest and guest of honor on all the whole team, along with in the leadership of Akshay K. Panikar, the whole team. I will once again thank our today's chief guest of this function. Thank you, Anila.
You're always the source of inspiration and support to us, sir. Thank you. I request Mr. Aravind sir to present a memento to Mr. Srinivas Nandagopal as a token of love and gratitude. Thank you, sir. Gratitude is the fairest blossom which springs from soul. May I now request Mr. Ravin Kumar, faculty from Chemistry Department, to propose the vote of thanks.
Good evening, everyone. I deem it a great honor and privilege to propose vote of thanks on this memorable occasion. First of all, let me start by giving glory to the Almighty God for making today's occasion a resounding success. A guru or the guide is that person who shows us a path towards the truth or the success. Today, we have such a guru among us. It is none other than our chief guest, Dr. P. Subramania Edapaditaya, the Vice Chancellor, Mangrove University, who, despite his busy schedule, has found time to grace this occasion. It's my immense pleasure to express my heartfelt thanks to him on behalf of this institution in his absence. Thank you, sir, for your words of guidance. Sir Nelson Mandela has quoted that education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. And today, we have one more eminent personality who is changing the world by opening it up to the positivity. Who is our beloved guest of honor, Mr. Srinivasan Nandagopal, former senior correspondent, Times of India, and co-founder of Center for Integrated Learning, Mangalore. It's my privilege to thank him for his valuable words. Thank you, sir. It is our Managing Director, Mr. Akshay Kepanikar, who is the source of our entire energy and inspiration, without whom we could never been gathered here. So, I am very happy to thank him on this occasion. Thank you, sir. We have Mr. K. Padmanabh Panikar, the president of today's function, ex-corporator, as well as the main pillar of our institution, Ankuram Educational Trust. He is the founder trustee of our institution. It is my great honor to thank him. Thank you, sir, for your presidential remark. I thank all the eminent personalities like Professor Sureshnath, sir. Thank you for your presence, sir. We want your guidance throughout our journey. Thank you, sir. Last but not the least, I would like to thank all our faculties who actually have been working day and night for this successful event. I thank all of them. I would like to thank all the media persons who have present here and all the students, their parents, and all the well-wishers, without whom we will not get any energy. So I'll thank everyone who are present in online launching event of our dream, eSRA, eSchool for Remote Academia. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, Praveen sir. Thank you all for joining us today. Please follow us on our social media handles for further updates. Thank you. Have a good night.